Wonderful. Thank you, Kurt and Jorge. That was beautiful. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome all who gathered together today, here, there, and everywhere. This is indeed God's house, a place of prayer for all. I have a few community-related announcements before we begin today. First of all, I want to thank Erica for doing a wonderful job of cleaning the church again this week. That woman went out and got her own mop and got little signs about wet floor. Be careful, don't fall, because she was concerned about that. Honest to goodness, a wonderful job. So very grateful for her. I also want to thank Corey Andresen and Vicki for providing social hospitality today. Thank you all so much. This is another way that you may help to nourish this community. There is a sign-up sheet, and there are openings. And if you have the desire to do this, but not the resources or vice versa, please let me know. I'd like to call up Ken now for an announcement.
Good morning. So we are going to talk Pride. Is anybody proud in here today? Anybody love going to Pride? It's almost my favorite time of year. It's fabulous. It's so much fun. When I go, I'm normally there from the minute we open to the minute we tear it all down because I'm just having fun. You meet so many cool people, some of which I met in this room there. So we have a few opportunities. They're all kind of in flux right now, so I'm asking you just kind of go with the flow and stay in touch with me, and we'll get you all squared away. So Prince William is trying to see if they can work us in. That's this coming Saturday. And that's going to be from 12 to 4. The guy that's taking care of us is a good friend of ours. He used to go to this congregation. Some of you remember Matt. He used to be here like 200 years ago. So he'll let me know today or in the morning whether or not we can work in there. If we are, we're going to do it. That's from 12 to 4. And then Fairfax Pride is coming up on June the 6th, which is 11 to 1 o'clock. We're talking with TGRA, is that right?
TGEA.
TGEA, okay. I could never work in the government. I can't do acronyms. So Fairfax Pride, June 6th, and then Capitol Pride. And for some reason, I don't have the right date here, but we'll get all that to you. What I'm begging and asking you politely for, and begging you, if I didn't tell you, I'm begging you. If you are interested in working with any of these events, please see me after church. Please call me. Please email. Let's get you on the books. They're not hard. It's actually a lot of fun, the people that you get to meet and things you get to see. And most of the time, it's just sitting there and kind of just welcoming people. So if you're interested at all, please come and see me. We'd love to have you participate. It's a great thing for the church and for you personally, I promise. And now are we moving on?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, unless you want to do something else.
We'll save the show for later. I'll do a puppet show later. Okay?
I'll look forward to it.
All right. Let's see.
There we go. And I'll bring you up later.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's what I thought we were doing.
No, that's okay. No worries, no worries. So, attending the Pride events now this year is more important than ever for several reasons. One of the biggest reasons is that there will be no Rest in Pride this year. Okay, so it is important that we attend as many of the other prides as possible. If you don't know how to reach Ken, reach me, and I'll reach Ken. But would love to have as many folks there as possible. Also, as an example of community outreach, things that go on with this church that you don't typically see. That this is a safe space for meeting groups. This past Friday, Second Friday, we had over 50 folks here as a part of the gender communities. We had parents, we had teens, we had transmasculine individuals, over 50 folks here. So know that this community provides a safe space, not only for that, but for the teen discussion group that happened on Saturday. Also for FCPS, for Fairfax County Public School Pride Group. They meet here as well as the Teen Game Day, which typically gathers here on the last Saturday of every month. So I want you to know all the folks who make use of this community space, and I want to thank you for providing that. Thank you. And finally, I want to wish a happy Mother's Day and celebrate all the mothers among us. Mothers of record, mothers of choice, and all those, regardless of gender, who have nurtured the hearts and the souls of the community and the children around you. In doing so, we also recall the mothers in our own lives, sometimes many, many mothers, those who have held us, nourished us, guided us with wisdom, comforted us in our sorrow, helped heal our wounds, and made less our pain. We take time to remember and honor the good given to us by them as we hold their memories in our thoughts. We also acknowledge and remember those for whom Mother's Day is a painful day, a day of loss, a day of words unsaid and wounds unhealed, and an occasion for some to remember that in the absence of another, that they themselves have had to be the mother and to nourish and nurture their own life. With all these thoughts in mind, may all the mothers everywhere give birth to a future that will cradle all of humanity and beloved community. Are there any other community-related announcements? Hearing none, please take a moment to turn off your cell phones or set them to silent operation, symbolic of being present here now. Take a beat, take a breath. You are here among friends. And take a moment to wish peace to all, even those who do not wish peace to us.
Morning, y'all. Yeah, my name's T. Thanks for reminding me. Sometimes I forget that. I had somebody to say to me this week, when someone tells you you're just a dog walker or you're just a waiter, that person has never done your job, doesn't know how to do it, and just wants to get on that. But you know something? When you come to church, you never hear the words, you're just a child of God. You are a child of God. Nobody can replace that. And that's what makes it worth coming here. We bring illumination to our space this morning, the light of our candles, and with the words adapted from travel writer and historian William Least Heatmoon. Had I gone looking for some particular place rather than any place, I would have never found this spring under the sycamores. Since leaving home, I felt for the first time at rest, sitting full in the moment. I practice on the difficult task of just paying attention. It is a belief of my mother's that anybody who misses the moments of the journey misses just about what they're going to get, because people invariably become what they pay attention to. It is our observations and curiosity, she says, that makes us and remake us.
Good morning. Please join me in our gathering words as they appear in your printed program, adapted from Persian lyric poet Hafez Shirazi, who lived in the 1300s and whose work of divine inspiration are regarded by many Iranians as the highest pinnacle of Persian literature. Cloak yourself in 1,000 ways. Still I shall know you, my beloved. I shall celebrate you in the sheen of lakes, in the laughter of fountains. O beloved presence, more beautiful than all the stars together. You gladden the whole earth and make every heart great.
Now it's time for our community prayer, where we gather together to pray and remember joys and concerns in our community of faith. So please join me in prayer. Loving God, we come boldly before your throne of grace today, bringing all the joys and the concerns of this community. We offer prayers of continued healing for Cornelius, as his treatment for his Crohn's disease is accelerating. We offer prayers of continued healing and strength for Jaime as he moves through his cancer treatments. Prayers that the treatments will continue to be effective in improving his comfort. We offer prayers of presence for Jaime's wife Lolita and everyone who supports Jaime in this process. We offer prayers of presence for Ken's nephew McGuire. We offer prayers of strength and healing for all our angels as they continue treatment and continue to celebrate life. We offer prayers of strength and healing for little Isla, 3 months old and on the liver transplant list at Georgetown Hospital. Prayers of comfort and presence for her mom and the family as they wait. We offer prayers for Ava. We offer prayers of thanksgiving and continued healing for Jeff Young following his surgery. We offer prayers of continued healing for Frank and thankfulness that he's present today. We offer prayers of strength and discernment for Sarah as she's navigating a challenging passage in her journey toward a more authentic life. We offer prayers of journeying mercy for myself and William as we prepare to go to Ireland and get William settled in a new job there. We offer prayers of strength and healing for Heather's brother Steve, who is resuming treatment for multiple stage 4 cancers. And loving God, we offer prayers of peace, unity for our nation, our world, and our communities. Now, if there are any names you would wish to offer in prayer, just speak them aloud where you are. And now we'll just take a moment of silence for the unspoken prayers in our hearts, the prayers that are sometimes too hard to verbalize, but that the Spirit knows and hears.
Then Paul stood in front of the Areopagus and said, "City of Athens, I see how extremely religious you are in every way. For as I went through the city and looked carefully at your shrines, I even discovered among them an altar inscribed to the unknown God. What therefore you worship as unknown, this I proclaim to you. The God who made the world and all that is in it, the sovereign of heaven and earth, does not live in shrines made by human hands, and isn't served by humans as if in need of anything. No, God is the one who gives everything life, breath, everything. From one source, one blood, God created all of humankind to inhabit the entire earth, and to set the time for each nation to exist and the exact place where each nation should dwell. God did this so that human beings would seek, feel, search for God, and perhaps find the one who is not really far from any one of us, the one in whom we live and move and have our being. As one of our own poets put it, we too are God's children. If we are in fact children of God, then it is inexcusable to think that the deity is like an image of gold, silver, or stone, an image formed by the art and imagination of mortals. God, who overlooked such ignorance in the past, now commands all people everywhere to change their minds for the better and reform their lives. For a day that has been set when the whole world will be judged with justice by one destined and appointed for that task. God has given proof of all of this by this judge from the dead.
Our second reading is adapted from author, priest, and theologian, the author Reverend Barbara Brown Taylor, in An Altar in the World, A Geography of Faith. When people say, I am spiritual, but not religious, they are trying to tell me that they have a sense of the divine depths of things, but they are not regular churchgoers. They want to grow closer to God, but not at the cost of going to church. I think I know what they mean by religious. It's the spiritual part that is harder to grasp. My guess is that they do not use that word in reference to a formal set of beliefs, since that belongs on the religion side of the page. It may be the name for a longing for more meaning, more feeling, more connection, more life than they know there is more to life than what meets the eye. They have drawn close to this more in nature, in love, in art, in grief, and they would be happy for someone to teach them how to spend more time in the presence of this deeper reality. They seem willing to look all over the place for this treasure. This last place most people look is right under their feet. In the everyday activities, experiences, accidents, and encounters of their lives. What possible spiritual significance could a trip to the grocery store have? How could something as common as a song be a window to a new way of thinking? Or a simple story be a doorway to greater life? The accumulated insight of those wise about the spiritual life suggests that the reason so many of us cannot see the X that marks the spot is because we are already standing on it. Oddly enough, church may be the very place to help to point that out. And now, join us in our song of response, Over My Head, number 514.
That was great.
And now, Reverend Emma's reflection, searching for God.
So, the illumination reading that T so wonderfully read this morning, now oftentimes there are lines in these readings that I think really, really to pay attention to. And one of the lines in that one, we invariably become what we pay attention to. And so I think nowadays that's especially important. You got it. It's so common you can't even catch it sometimes. Will you join me in a word of prayer, please? Spirit of longing, wonder, and mystery. Loving Spirit who calls us to seek, search, look, want to grow, to feel. As near to us as our breath, our feelings, our awareness. As distant from us as our disbelief. Help us to remember that you did not begin on paper. That you did not begin with our awareness, our small understanding and explanations, that you are far older than the feelings that you stir within us, older than the fire, older than the spark that starts the fire, and yet as new as the flame that burns on our altar today and within the altar of our hearts. Grant us an awareness of your presence moving with us, around us, and through us. In your many holy names we pray. Amen. Have you ever felt that you wanted something, but you didn't know exactly what you wanted? You felt a longing and a yearning. Maybe you recognized it no other way than by the empty space. Something missing, you could not verbalize what it was. A longing for the unknown. That's kind of where we enter with Paul today. Now, ours is a religion of stories. Yes, we have sayings and we have teachings, but largely those things come from stories. Where we get hung up is that people keep coming along and putting something into the stories rather than getting something out of them. That is, people often put a potentially dogmatic meaning into the stories rather than seeking to draw a spiritual meaning out of them. And that matters. Sometimes I think that maybe the difference between religion and spirituality is the difference between what we are told and what we feel. It's kind of like our sexuality and our identities. In the lesbian, gay, bi, trans, intersex, queer, and questioning communities. We may read, and people may tell us things about who we are, and sometimes wrong things, but ultimately we search, we feel it, and we find it. We search, we feel it, and we find it. So previously in the Act of the Apostles, Paul had done some powerful preaching in Thessalonica. So much so that a sort of Jewishy Gentile church of believers was established there. But the existing temple authorities did not approve. They were like, Paul and Silas, those two have spread trouble all over. Now they're here, right here in Thessalonica, spreading confusion, making a mess of things, and professing another sovereign, another ruler, another judge, another king, whatever, named Yeshua, Jesus. And you know how thin-skinned and defensive our emperor is. Those words could bring trouble raining down upon us. So let's run them out of town. But one town wasn't nearly far enough for Paul. So they ran him out of the next town too, just for good measure. And then they finally to the seacoast and eventually all the way to Athens. So here we see clearly the tensions beginning within the existing faith tradition, Judaism, and the reformers, followers of the way. Now, they were energized by their experiences at Pentecost, and they were really beginning to feel as if this new thing that they were feeling was something that just might no longer fit in the box that it came in. That is, this new thing might no longer fit into the religion in which it began, Judaism. So Paul was in Athens waiting for Silas and Timothy to catch up. And he was doing the touristy thing. He was checking out the sights and the people and the places. The verses leading up to the passage today tell us that Athens was a different kind of city. We are told that everyone who lived in Athens was hungry to hear something new, something unusual. They were eager for new things there. The newest iPhone, the latest influencer, the hottest app. New gods, lots of gods. Cold stone gods, golden gods. They were creating gods that they could know and that they could touch physically instead of one who might touch them. Gods that they might feel in their hands rather than feel in their hearts. Some might even say that they were looking for something not that would give more focus to their lives, but that would distract them from their lives. Sounds kind of familiar, doesn't it? Here we also have kind of a distinction between religion, which is thought of as being a systematic structure of dogma, doctrines, and principles, and spirituality, which is much more abstract, visceral, a breathy sort of heart space experience, one that is not easily described or defined. So Paul's passion and his talk of a new life intrigues these people in Athens, and they bring him to the city court and ask, could you tell us these new ideas that you're teaching? Some of the things that you say sound strange to us and don't make sense. So we would like to know what they mean. Again, knowing versus feeling. And that's where the passage begins today. Paul preaching to a really tough crowd. Done that before. But not the kind of tough crowd he was accustomed to. No, they were not trying to attack him, stone him, arrest him, kill him, run him out of town. Big relief there. But this crowd was tough in another way. They were looking for thinking, for knowing. This time, it seemed, Paul was more about feeling. He had already wandered around Athens and noticed the copious quantities of idols, of altars, and strange-looking religious items. He knew the people there were hungry, seeking something that they didn't know what it was, and reaching for and making things to fill their empty spaces. So Paul began to preach. I see y'all are very religious here. Religious in every way. Lots of idols and stuff. Can't turn around without tripping over an altar or a god, or a statue, or a hunk of metal in some sort of distracting or disturbing shape. Why, I even saw an altar inscribed to the unknown God. To the unknown God. Now that right there was probably an old preacher's tool. Known as poetic license. There is no record of such an altar. Although there were altars crafted and made to unknown gods. Plural. The belief is that Paul made the polytheistic inscription monotheistic in order to suit his next step, something that preachers often do. Now, the unknown God he proclaimed, the God who made the world and all in it, the one in whose dominion and reign is all of heaven and earth, that God does not live in a shrine made by human hands, or in a piece of metal, or a piece of clay or marble. No, the God who gives all life breath, the one who created all humanity from one source, making us all related, the one who set nations and peoples apart from one another so that each might seek and feel about for God and perhaps in the process discover each other. Feel about for God, the one who is not very far from any one of us. Not some distant God, not some cold, hard metal thing, not some bit of clay shaped in our own image, by our own hands. No, we are children of a God far too alive to be made of stone. This living God calls us to change, to turn around, to transform. Calls us to new life, to rise from the dead, calls us to feel about and to look about, to seek divinity with our feelings, with our passions, with our heart, with our humanity, and with our very life. So this sermon in Athens, one in which a preacher may see all the tools of the craft in action. Was it a success? No. It's actually widely regarded as Paul's one significant failure. Why? He didn't start a church there. Thessalonica, church started, run out of town, big success. Athens, people listened, no known church planted, a failure. He didn't plant a church there that we know of. He didn't score many converts or believers. And so, a failure. But that judgment is made by those who go by the numbers. Those who measure religion in churches. Religion in the number of churches. And that measure churches in members. And that measure members in attendance. Jesus measured in hearts and in followers. Jesus measured in relationships formed and lives transformed. You know, I can't always sympathize with Paul. But let me tell you, I've had many a sermon that I've marked as a failure. In fact, just about every sermon that I've given. Because I feel that I have failed to get across what I feel. I have failed to find the words to adequately communicate what I feel. What I feel inside, the unknown, the mystery, the beauty of which we heard today in our call to gather, the beloved of which Hafez writes and Susan spoke. Here's the thing. In order to seek God, divinity, I had to release all of the preconceived notions of others. Things that I had been told over the years. I was just a kid seeking this idol, this image in my image in my head of a father. A vision of a bearded man floating on a cloud like Michelangelo's painting with the face of Charlton Heston. But here's the thing. When you stop seeking one when you stop seeking one specific thing, then you become open to everything. I want to find the words to communicate what I feel. And in that, I fail. I fail like Paul, trying to place a spiritual experience into a religious context. But, like my dad, I'll never stop trying to get it across. Each week, I keep feeling about trying to better know the unknown. The unknown that I am aware of, the beloved whose presence I celebrate. Feeling like Haiphaz felt 700 years ago, feeling God everywhere, all around, beloved, has a lover. Feeling God. You are an angel. Thank you so much. Yes, God is even in the pollen. Feeling God in the peal of the bells of the National Cathedral, in the whirling of Sufi dervishes on polished marble floors, in the very strange meow of our cat Raffy, or in Heather's laughter. My God, my divinity is spirit, which is felt so much more than thought. Can I get an amen? Amen. How do you feel about, how do you reach for God? How do you search for God? Don't freak out and think the search is over your head, beyond your reach. It is within your grasp. Not the grasp of your hand or your mind, but that of your heart. Church is where I began my journey, but it is not where it ends. Church is not the destination, no more than the internet is a destination. Although some people surely make it so, and they go no farther. No, church is not the destination, but rather a place to take us beyond ourselves, into ourselves, for a moment, for an hour, or maybe more. Church is a place to access greater things, or it should be. Not necessarily a place where we find things, although sometimes it is, but also a place that tells us how and where to look. How and where to look for the things that we want, for the things that matter, even if we can't always name them, we can only feel them. We search for God by following the footprints of God and the stirring of breath in the wake of God's passing, moving past us. And in the awareness that God's fingerprints are all over the universe, in the DNA and the chemistry, everywhere, and all over us. Humans form doctrines and dogmas around ancient stories. Stories which for me are more to be felt and experienced like life. Not what is tacked onto them, but what I can get out of them. For it is in the feeling and in the living that I feel the presence of the living God, the Holy One, the risen one who calls out to us to follow in God's peace. The one who is so near to each of us, as near to each of us as our own breath, our awareness, and our feelings, yet has distance as our disbelief. Rumi, the Sufi mystic poet, said, "What you seek is seeking you. What you seek is seeking you." And I believe that we seek a divinity, a God who is constantly seeking us, asking us no matter where we are, do you feel me? Do you feel me here? Find me here. Woke me up. Now we have just a little time to hear your thoughts. Anything that may have gotten stirred in your heart space this morning, please raise your hand, please speak up, and please be brief.
So for those of you who don't know, I teach middle school, which is an adventure every day. I specifically teach English to students who don't speak English at home. And if you haven't been to school in a while, we are testing our kids to death. So we have to do MAP testing 3 times a year in English and math. They also have to do a WIDA test to measure how good their English is, and it determines which classes they can take in middle school and high school. My 8th graders are taking 5 different SOLs this year. And as a teacher, we are so judged by these numbers that our students are getting. And the students are judged by these numbers as well. And when you're talking about, deciding whether or not something is a failure based only on numbers, I just started crying because these poor children, they're children.
Yes.
They're 12 years old. They have most of the kids that I teach have been through way more than most of the adults in that building. And they're only 11, 12, 13, 14. They have major gaps in their schooling. They're coming from countries, and we don't know what their lives have been or what they've seen, but there's a lot of trauma at my school.
Yeah.
And we're just losing them being people. And we're losing how much good they're doing and how wonderful they are, because we're only worried about these numbers that they're getting on the tests. And it's not fair, because they're people and they're such good kids. And the tests aren't showing that, and it's really frustrating.
And you're right. You're right. We can't lose them, and we can't lose our humanity in the process. And one of the reasons that I still have hope for the future is that there are teachers like you. There are teachers like you. There are teachers like you. There are teachers like all the teachers that are here today. I have hope for the future because of the way that you feel. Thank you. Yes.
Good morning. Last Sunday, the first Sunday of the month, we were feeding the homeless at Home Depot, and then up to the other place. And I completely lost it because I never knew that people could care about each other, genuinely, without it being a ruse to
Take
hurt
advantage.
you or whatever. And the beauty of it was just overwhelming. And I was reminded of the sermon you gave today and what Kat just said, and I don't know if it helps anybody else, it just helps me. When I find myself inconsolable, I remember that I discovered 10 years ago that my entire life, the entirety of my life, there's a thread. And it's woven the cloth. That's my life now. So when I find myself inconsolable, I remember that the Creator has a plan, and I just have to trust it and let it go.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that.
The very next verse, following the reading we had this morning, says that some of the people who heard Paul were moved and believed. and followed him.
Indeed.
It was not a failure.
It was not. Not in your eyes, my eyes, or those writing the Acts. But in the eyes of some people, it was.
And that's on us.
It is on us. It is on us. Thank you. I'm just going to take a moment and look at y'all because I can. The view up here is much better than other places. Yes, you do. You know that. Those who have been here know that. I want to thank you all for sharing your thoughts this morning. You have enriched my journey.
Good morning, I'm Cornelius. As we journey forward, we come bearing gifts, our time, talent, and treasures, our very presence this morning in this place. We bring the blessing of who we are and who we are becoming as individuals and as a community of faith. Together we provide food for the hungry, welcome for the guests, care for those in need, a meeting place for those who need a safe space to gather, and a place for us to worship and reflect on life's beauties, life's blessings, and life's challenges. And it is in that same spirit that we now share in our harvest of hope, joy, and abundance, and all of the many blessings around us, the tithes and offerings we receive, as well as the time and talents joyfully offered and provided by our many volunteers, all come together to feed and support our vital and ongoing ministries, and to help build this community as we give back to God a portion of what God has blessed us with. And now we sing.
Let's consecrate communion together. Let's do it by singing. I will sing the verses. You can join me if you wish. And would you all please join me in the chorus as it appears in your printed program? I am the bread of life, broken for all. Eat and be hungry no more. Let us be bread, blessed by our God, broken and shared, life for the world. Let love freely poured. Let us be one in our God. I am the wine of love, poured out for all. Drink and be thirsty no more. Let us be bread, blessed by our God, broken and shared, life for the world. Let us be wine, love freely poured. Let us be one in our God. See how my people have nothing to eat. Give them the bread that is you. Let us be bread, blessed by our God, broken and shared, life for the world. Let us be wine, love freely poured. Let us be one in our God. At MCC of Northern Virginia, like MCCs all over the world, we celebrate an open communion. And this means you do not need to be a member of this church. You do not need to be a member of any church. Nor do you have to have any specific belief about what happens at this table. You have a place at this table as a child of God. Do all who wish have communion? As is the way with MCCs, if you wish to receive a brief individual prayer and blessing, you may come forward as directed by our usher. There will be 2 unmasked communion ministers on this side and 1 on this side, masked. Please indicate to the usher if you have a preference, and proceed as you are comfortable for a brief prayer and blessing. And if you do not wish, please remain seated in prayer and meditation. And please refrain from conversations, as others will be in prayer and meditation. Please come forward to the usher, if you wish, as you are, while Jorge plays softly. You know, when we sang Over My Head just before the sermon, I felt God here at work in this room. We were all singing together. Jorge even stopped playing and sang with us. No, that was not planned, but we all felt it. I felt it. You felt it. That is God at work, blessing every single one of us. Amen. See if we can do it again. We're going to sing hymn number 8, Praise to the Living God.
I want to thank Vicki and Corey Andresen for providing social hospitality today. Thank you very much. Remember that invariably what you pay attention to, you will become. Consider the possibility of releasing what you seek based on your preconceived notions. Stop looking for one thing and be open to encountering everything. Consider following your feelings for a while rather than specific theological dogma. And know that what you seek is also seeking you. And now may the love of the Creator, the grace, mercy, and peace of Jesus Christ the Liberator, and the friendship and community of the Holy Spirit rest and abide with you, with us all. And may God's grace guide your feet until we meet again. Go forth from this place today in peace.